Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let me get started here. All right, mic should be on. Everything should be good. We're ready to rock and roll. Today is Wednesday. It is a hump day. It's October 21st, 2020. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we are going to start with ES futures. All right, not much has changed. Basically, we have some lower highs, higher lows, sideways action right here around the neutral. You can see we're caught in between 3443, 3431. Your line in the sand is here. If we do break down and take out the session lows, look for a test down into the previous low at 3409. If we break down below that, look for 3392. Today, what I'll be looking for, unfortunately, this has been happening over and over here. All right, so right here above the trendy edge is what I'm looking for. If we can hold above this level, unfortunately, we have a little bit of resistance right in here. This is kind of how they've been doing us. And right here, they're building a little bit of support. So you're really in a tight range. This would just drive everyone nuts, right? So if we could break out above this little inside candle here, look for a move into that 3470 again. Again, I've been saying this for the last several days. Price needs to hold above 3470 at least on a 4-hour candle, at least. Okay. If we can hold above there, possibly a gap up into 3483 come Thursday, but those things need to happen first. Again, if we break down and take out these lows, look for a move into this previous low at the overall 38.2 of this move, so at 3409. If we break down below 3409, look for 3392. Okay. All right. So far on Facebook already, I'm finished, right? And so for some of you who trade equity, you can see here, we've already this morning traded the plan, okay? So here at Facebook, we got in at 275, added at 276 and some change, trimmed at 276 and some change, trimmed at 277, trimmed at 278, and closed at 280. Not bad for a nice little pre-market trade. We also have spreads on Facebook. Let's go ahead and go over this. And I'm going to go to a big screen here. And let's go ahead and put Facebook on here so I can kind of show you what I did this morning. This was a pretty straightforward, trendy blueprint. Okay, so we started off this morning. We saw the gap up. I measured the gap up. I got us some nice little areas here. We started right into this area. I was a little weary of the selling pressure, but we broke right through. We added here, trimmed in here, trimmed here, and then right at the trendy accelerator, I went ahead and closed. Now, the reason why I closed is because I also have options on this for longer dated, and I'm happy with the morning trade. If you're still in shares, what I'm looking at here, pay attention to the 2-hour 9 EMA. It is now confluent with some inside candles and some nice buying pressure. So if the bulls really want to hold this and keep this, they'll keep it above this 2-hour 9 EMA and or this neutral yellow box there. The accelerator is setting up for what we call an AC/DC. Let's go ahead and look at the bigger picture. In the grand scheme of things, you can see that we're just kind of making our way up. Matter of fact, this is what I wanted to see in the ES. You know, rounding bottom, higher lows, higher highs within a down range. Okay. Instead, we're just getting that sideways action over there on the ES, all right? But this is setting up to be an AC/DC. This would be the reason that I have the spreads on. And what I'm looking for is this target here at or around 296. Please take into consideration we do have earnings. Earnings are 10/29 after market. Today is the 21st. Click here and you will see that earnings are next Thursday. Current price is at 280. And this is on the heels of Snap. Let's go ahead and look at Snap. This is a really big move up. this would be considered a chaotic candle, right? So what do we want to do? How can you trade something like Snap? I'm going to show you. Let's go ahead and just measure this chaotic candle. Let's go ahead and pay attention to the 2-hour. I really like the 2-hour, even a 1-hour on such a big gap up. I mean, you don't want a 4-hour. You throw a 4-hour on there, your 9 EMA is going to be, halfway down the candle. And if it were to pull back and you start starters here, you're going to lose a lot of money. All right. So I'm going to use a 2-hour, and then I'm just kind of flip through a couple of them here. Look at the 1-hour. You could see that price has already come into the 1-hour right here and then went bid. All right. And you can see that it's keeping a really tight range into the open. Now, a lot of traders would probably be scared to take this, but if you approach it with a plan, you should not be scared, and you should accept your loss before you take a trade. That's the hardest thing for most traders. I accept a loss every time before I take a trade, and I understand my allocation. Measuring this overall chaotic candle, what I'd really like to see is that price can hold above 33.60. Okay, let's just call it 33.55. So go ahead and put a line here. I'm going to come down here to about 33.55. Keep it right there. And if you want, let's go ahead and put a yellow box right here. Okay. Now let's go to the weekly just really quick. I want to see where we are as far as the entire thing is concerned. I want to identify this level here. Just like that. And now let's go back to the 1-hour. All right, so we're way above here. All right, so let's go ahead and get ourselves an extension target. And I'm actually going to extend only from 33 into this pivot high. This is a low ATR stock. It doesn't usually move that much. Look, $2, and this thing is gapped up 7. Okay. Now, typically, I do have a rule. Anything that's gapped up over 10%, I'm usually hands off, because usually what you'll find is a lot of profit taking and then sideways action. Who knows though? I feel like a piranha out here in this market, right? Everybody's looking for something that can move, right? I know I am. So don't you feel like a piranha? And they just fed us some snap. So it's like, man, I want some of this, right? So anyways, in this area, it's neutral. Mellow in the yellow, leave it alone. Let the people who are lucky, like my brother and a couple of you, who bought options in this thing and are waking up happy as can be. As long as we can hold in the yellow, let it mellow. Let profit taking happen. Even if for some reason it breaks below these EMAs, who cares? Let it do its thing. Wait for it on a 30-minute probably to an hour. Wait for that inside candle. Once it starts going bid, can look to put stops in and at least try it. And if we get all the way back up here by the afternoon session, I'd be trimming here, and on a nice candle over this, I would add back in, and then I'm looking for extension targets. That is a plan. Let's just write out a plan. Mellow in the yellow. Let's go ahead and identify that level. Okay. Just like that. And then if price were to come in here, inside, make higher highs, I'm looking to go long. Above this level, I can add 35.60, looking for an extension in the 36 and possibly 36.50. But again, I would expect a little bit of profit taken, but let's see how much momentum actually comes out of this. All right, so that is Snap. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put this in the room. Typically, I'm going to put notes and stuff like that over here, but since you're listening, I'm going to go ahead and just put it right there. All right. All right, let's move on. Let's go to BIDU. Now, I've already started BIDU inside the neutral, very small position, because I never can trust BIDU. It's just one of those, right? You got to have like these personality things for different charts. And so starter here, and you can see BIDU showing relative strength, slight gap up, watching a 2-hour candle and the 9, and that 9 is down here. Starters in the yellow can add above blue dots right here, 134.81, and trim at or near 135.50. So right in here, there's a little bit of selling pressure. Void under 131. That would be under here. So what I'd like to see on my starter, and let's move this over here, and then I'm going to zoom in. Okay. And here, if for some reason on the starter, I don't care. It's such a small size, I could care less. All right. If it were to come back and then start to go bid, I'm going to try to add here right around this EMA and then trade this up to the upside. Okay. Somewhere in here, could trim if I wanted to, but most likely not. And here, I would love to add and then bring my stop up. Now, there's a kicker to trading using different time frames and using 9 EMAs. For me, I like to wait for the candle to close. Too many times do I get stopped out in the past because something touched the level. And then lo and behold, you come back an hour, 2 hours later, and it actually held, but you didn't give room for your candle to close. Okay. All right. So that is BIDU. And then go ahead, if you have any requests, go ahead and let me know here in the room. And I know, Raul, you've been asking for Tesla. All right. So Raul asks if I am still bullish on Tesla. Here's my thing. I'm neither. You know, I like Tesla. This is a long-term trade for me. I bought some shares back at 418 and I trimmed right up here, literally right at the top of this move. And I'm just sitting on shares. I'm sitting on this for my family. I could care less if it went to 200. I would just add more shares down there. Okay. Far as looking at it from a technical basis and looking at, we have earnings coming in here, 1021, which is today after market. If I were looking at this without earnings, it's very simple. We are between the AC/DC setup. We're making lower highs. I'd like to see it flatten out in here. If for some reason Tesla starts to go bid, let's go ahead and I'm going to take some of this off right now. And let's clear this drawing set. All right, let's get something a little bit higher time frame. No problem, John. I'll get right to that here in a second. So, it looks like a little flag here on the 4-hour, but notice down here, we got some buying pressure. See this nice little rally out of here? Notice this little area here. Let's go ahead and identify that. I wouldn't expect the market to drop this lower than 404, okay, but we'll see. Take note of the 4-hour 9 EMA. It's pretty close to price. So really today, if I just wanted to day trade it into earnings, one, I'd like to try down here, or for some reason, if it starts to go bid above the 9 EMA, you could also, take this pivot here, draw some lines. Whoa, that's not the one I wanted. Sorry. Let's see if this is the one. There we go. You could draw some lines on this, right? And you can see the EMA is here. If we break out above that EMA and above the rail, we could get a nice move into earnings at or around the bottom of this trendy edge around 439 today. Okay, we'll see how much they want it into earnings. All right. Overall, consolidation after a big move up. You can see that. Okay, also looks like an ascending triangle, right? I'm not going to try to draw this perfectly. Okay, just like that. And you could go across that way. All right. All right, next one, John asked for CRWG. Let's go and take a look. Is this right? CRWG, the thing that's trading at 0.0028? I would hope not. There's no way. Oh, gotcha. My bad. I was like, man, John, wrong room, man. Right? It's too funny. I was like, man, no way he's trading this thing. I really hope not. All right. So it looks like I got an old blueprint on here. Maybe you asked me about this before. It's still in the bull channel. All right. So it came down. It must have came right into the demand, right, area here. You can see that on an inside and up. Actually came down into this whole entire level, that trendy edge. It's holding the upper trendy edge. It's blocked by the lower time frame trendy edge, that yellow line. So really, you're just in a bull channel. I like the trade personally lower on the curve. So what I mean by that is if you haven't taken it, this was the best place to take it in the bull channel, right around the trendy edge, right? This is a good place to trim out. And this is a better place above here. All right, so you just kind of in neutral for right now. All right. So again, the level I like above is 20, and below I'd be concerned below 1677. You're just basically in a hold-in pattern. Okay. NLS. All right, well, this looks, not very extended. The 4-hour 9 EMA, check it out. All right, it's right there. You hopped into it on Monday. Hopped in on Monday, earnings early November. What's your time frame? I mean, how long you want to hold this thing? Now on that daily, that looks just a little bit parabolic in a sense. Anytime that I'm buying something that looks like this, I come in with the idea of, stages. A little scared to buy up this high, so I might go smaller and then add down here at the EMA and so forth. But when we're looking at it from this range, okay, sorry, that's just funny. Look at that thing. Holy smokes. All right, this is what we're going to do. I like charts like this. This reminds me back in the day when AMD was like, 13 bucks. So we come down here, apply some Fibonacci methodology to here, and you can see the 618 is a huge level, right? What does that 618 mean of this entire range that I'm measuring? It means trend has not changed, right? So we're still in this down range, but if we can break above here, we've broken that trend. Okay, and then the bulls start to parade above this level. All right, so usually what you'll find in here is a little bit of inconsistency or indecision. And so after this spike, usually you'll do something like this for a bit, and then you break out. All right, and so for here my line in the sand is 28.41 and 23.24. It's a holding pattern. Everything in here I wouldn't be too concerned. So if you're in it longer term, you really want above 28.41 and you want to hold here for at least 3 days. Okay, again, we're looking at bigger picture. 3 days needs to stay above 28.41 or so. All right, let's go ahead and look at BABA. This one's really been looking nice as well. So I'm going to bring this down into a 4-hour. I do have some options on it. Unfortunately, I didn't buy enough time, but here's the blueprint. Let's not forget this blueprint. It's been hanging out here at the neutral for the entire week. Today may be the breakout. I have an alert here at 313.75. And really at the end of the day, I want to stay long above 310.53. Let's just call it 310.50. Okay, 310.50 holds. 313.75 is our target. A hold above here for at least an hour or so. I'm looking for a move here into 319. A lot of this depends on the overall market. You guys know that. Okay, the market has not been easy. I've been giving you this speech every day. I'm very transparent. You can see all my alerts. You can see all my losses. You can see my wins. And I have been losing more than I have been winning lately. Not ashamed of that. Okay. This is very difficult as there are some big runners out there, but some people are having a hard time because if you don't find a runner, you're jumping into something else. And it feels like with this type of market, when you jump in, and I know, right, you buy, and as soon as you buy, it kind of comes back on you. You're like, you gotta be kidding me. So if you find yourself at a stage like that and you feel a little chaotic in your mind, take a break. All right? Just take a break, come back, wait until we can get some trend. I want to take you to just the whiteboard just really quick and make you understand that the market itself, dropped about 5 days or so. Okay. And over here, we have, a chart that looks something like this, and it's doing its thing, right? And then it pulls back. And somewhere in here, we're basically around 50% of this rally. Now, typically, you get what's called a relief rally. Okay. So you start bouncing in here. The issue is that the bounces on a 4-hour time frame, they're not allowing us to peak over these pivot highs. And so we're unable to really get that nice round bottom that typically sends us up 50% of this range into earnings. So a lot of traders have come in, including myself, looking at that area and those levels and expecting some sort of bounce. And unfortunately, all we've really received is a bunch of chop. And you have in the background, you have talks of stimulus and you have talks of certain people, right? And it's their fault. But honestly, who knows what it is? I don't really care. What I do know is we're not getting follow through. So the easier trades, so what's happening here is this, okay? On a 4-hour, this is what's happening, okay? And it's really messing with a lot of traders. The easier trade is going to be above here or down here. So you have this big section of basically chaos and news and catalysts that are keeping us range bound. All right. And if you can accept this and understand within this range that it's slim pickings, there are charts out there that are moving, right? And then it creates FOMO because you're the trader that's been trading in this and not getting anything. And then you see so and so over here who just happened to trade Snap on earnings, or someone's in Facebook, and then you get super excited, right? You're like, man, I need to make up money. I have to make up money. Exactly. It's a traffic jam. All right. So when we look across the board and you see all these nice shiny lights, okay, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This thing, all right, there's a lot going on here. This is my watch list on my favorite, and I'm monitoring these. There's a lot of different things that may be green and or red. I want you to quickly look at the chart before you decide to take a trade and find out, are you in a traffic jam? Are you trending? If you're trending, take a shot. If you're in congestion, right? If it's congested, smaller allocation, wider stops. Why wider stops? Because it's volatile. Why smaller allocation? Because I guarantee you, you cannot withstand the volatility if you have a big position on. You have to have some sort of risk management. Okay. And I can't tell you what your tolerance is. Everybody's different, you know. Everyone is different. Every single trader in here is different. I can hold on to trades for a long time, especially if I have small allocation. I'm always adding up how much is in my shopping cart. And right now, as I explained to everybody, I have no more than 5% of my money in options. No more than 5%. That means I wanted to give you perspective, folks. If you had a $5,000 account, you're looking at a really small allocation. That means if I have 15, 20 different positions on, right, and I have 5% in, and you look at it, I have a pretty big size account. But again, these numbers are different to everyone, but the percentages are the same. My allocation is smaller. That's it. Okay? It's just smaller. I'm not ashamed of it. All right, let's go ahead and get started here and see what's going to happen on open. And I'm going to move this over here, right there. And let's go ahead and watch. I already traded Facebook. So again, we closed right here at the accelerator. See what's going to happen. This is a really small position. We'll see if it pulls back into the EMA. And then over here on ES, like I said, we're kind of in that neutral range. I'm going to take you to a 5-minute and show you the trendy indicator that we call the PMZ. This is my go-to, especially when things are sideways. Okay. Now every morning, all right, again, super transparent. Every morning I've opened up really nice and green, and then by the end of the day, I'm red. I have some amazing day trades, but my longer swing positions are the ones that I'm battling with or unrealized losses. All right. All right, so this is the PMZ here on the ES. All right. And usually you can come up here and you can see what the risk is. It's 2.9 or 3 points, which is $150 in the ES. And if we're talking about MES, it's literally, $15. So you can try the process once you come in here and you learn on MES, and it's really, low risk, just to kind of get your feet wet and try it out. So, all right, so I'm gonna go basically silent now. Good luck to everybody. Be patient today. You know, trade your levels. Whether just trade your levels. And I'm gonna get into trade mode here, and we'll see you guys here shortly. Okay.